Everyone, what's up guys, it's Boba Fett Crain here. Today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of Season 1, Episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. Now let's get into it. So this is a show about Boba Fett. If you don't know who Boba Fett is, click off this video and go watch all the Star Wars movies. Because Boba Fett is one of the most iconic characters of all time. Iconic movie characters, specifically. And so, basically, what happened at the end of The Mandalorian, and this is not a spoiler because everybody knows it, and it was in the trailer for this show and everything. Boba comes to Tatooine and basically kills, I can't remember who the name of this dude is, but like he took over for Jabba the Hutt. And so basically he takes over Jabba the Hutt's palace, and him and his sidekick are the new crime lords. Well, I wouldn't say crime lords, but they basically rule over everything Jabba the Hutt ruled over. Which is awesome. And in this episode, we don't just like get a lot of exposition about that. We actually learn a lot about Boba Fett's past and like what happened to him after the Sarlacc pit. Like what happened to him after he broke out of the Sarlacc pit, where he was presumed dead. And this episode actually, like, humanizes Boba Fett a lot. Like, you know how, like, if you've ever seen, like, the Star Wars movies, in the original trilogy, Boba Fett was portrayed as an antagonist of some sort. In The Mandalorian, he's portrayed as an anti-hero with mostly good intentions. But the strange thing about this episode is, in this episode, he's kind of like just portrayed as like a downright hero. Like, there's like a scene in this episode where he's trying to escape from I cannot remember what these guys are called, and I'm ashamed of it. It's not Jawas. It's not Javas. I cannot remember what these Tatooine creatures are called. Yes, I know the name of these things are in my brain. I've been a Star Wars fan for a long time, but I cannot, for the life of me, remember the names of this race of Tatooine creatures. But okay, so. But, you know, they capture him, and they have, like, another alien captured, and after Boba Fett cuts loose, he turns around to this alien dude who he had never actually met before, and goes, "Do you want me to cut you free?" I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're really, like, humanizing this character in this episode, which I found to be awesome. Like, I like how they're fleshing out the character of Boba Fett. You know, it's nice to see that there's multiple sides to him. He is a Mandalorian, so there are things in his culture that he stands for. You know, he stands for pride, he stands for honor, he stands for all this kind of stuff. And, you know, Fennec is a good sidekick in this episode. And, you know, their duo leads to a lot of awesome badass fight scenes, which I enjoyed. A lot of awesome action scenes. This episode can be a bit slow at times, but it is a pilot episode, and it's slow in a good way, and slow in a necessary way, not in a boring way. It's slow in a good way, and it's slow in a necessary way that is needed to actually expand on Boba's backstory and some other things in this episode that I'm not really going to get into because spoiler-free review. But I had a great time. While this was not as good as The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 1, or any actually, it was better than, like, a few episodes of The Mandalorian. But while I may not like this show as much, not as quite as much as I liked The Mandalorian, they're still making more episodes. Season 3 hasn't come out yet, but I know it's going to come out. I still love this series, and it's still a perfect series so far. This was a perfect episode. It's awesome, and I can't wait to see what comes next. What I'm saying is this series is still awesome, even though it's not as awesome as The Mandalorian. Well, so far. Anyway, I'm going to give this episode a 100% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A+. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.